Welcome to the Fantasy Football Forge. My name is Steve, and it is time to do a little DFS value diving into the positions for the Saturday main slate only. I was busy on Friday, and I am figuring out exactly what kind of content I'm going to do this time of the year, so everything's taking a little bit longer this week as I get set up. Over on the left, this is my temperature gauge. I do that all season long for my projections. It's just it's basically a matchup rating. You know, green's obviously going to be good all the time here. Red's going to be bad. For the other positions other than the quarterback, it is more than just a matchup rating. It also takes factors. Both of them take like Vegas factors. Are they working towards these games being more high-scoring games or not for that position? And for the other positions, it also takes in some factors like what quality the targets are that they're getting or the rushing attempts and how productive they are with those quality or not quality targets, those types of items. Then here we have a lower expectation, higher expectation. These are part of the projections that I put up all season long, and so you can get them next year for your fantasy stuff up at the website, www.theffforge.com. And let me know if you would like me to put these up onto the website for the rest of the playoffs. I'd be happy to. Just drop that down in the comments. That's what this is. This is an expected range that these players are expected to be scoring within, given the matchup this week and how they've performed all season long, or in some instances in a selected, more selective than all season long. But I try to get as big of an accurate sample size as possible for players. Then here is the DK pricing. Should have led that off the top. This is based on DK full PPR prices and scoring. And over here is the points per dollar spent on that player. How many points are you getting for every dollar spent? So the higher, the better. And here is the points per the lower expectation, higher expectation, and then the average is how I have these players organized in for this video. So let's start off right at the top with the quarterbacks, and the number one value play that I have this week is going to be Daniel Jones, and that feels right to me. He feels like he's a really good price at $5,600 for potentially the highest scoring game on Saturday. Maybe not the single highest scoring week, but team, given Josh Allen here. But other than that, really like the opportunity here for Daniel Jones. And now that it's playoff time, you would think that he'll be more willing to be running more regularly. So I think the floor is even a little bit higher this time of the year for Daniel Jones. Then right below that, the second best value is actually Josh Allen, even though he is the most expensive quarterback, which is, I would say, surprising and awesome. You will see at the end of this video, I do give you three different lineups. Two are just kind of a variation off of one another, very few differences between those two. And so really two different lineups that I am going to be putting out there this week. This system worked out pretty well for me last year to find some gems. Then the third quality quarterback we have is going to be Kirk Cousins at $5,900 DK pricing, and it goes down from there. You can always pause this video to look at things closer, and that's why this would probably be helpful to have up on the website. So definitely let me know if I'll probably do it either way, but if you want me to put it up on the website, just let me know so I'll have that extra incentive to make sure to get them up there next week. Now let's move on to the next position, which are going to be the wide receivers. Sorry, I have a cat below me, so it's a little awkward sitting right now. And don't fall off there. All right, so the number one value receiver is Richie James Jr., and here's a guy who I definitely, doing the projections, just looked at recent production over the past, I think it was the past 5 weeks I took, and he has been getting heavily targeted, doing really well, and so wasn't too surprised when I put in his numbers that he ended up being the top value player for the wide receivers here at only $3,900. All three of the Giants receivers are actually the top three wide receiver value plays. And I think that has to do a little bit with some of the uncertainty, and all of them have had periods during the season where they've done well. But Richie James has started off the season kind of well, disappeared for a while, came back, and has done well as of recent. Isaiah Hodgins was a mid-season add-on to the team and has continuously gotten better for the team and gotten more involved. And Darius Slayton, neither of these other two were doing that great, was the guy, but he's kind of taken a step back. And as you can see, I really wouldn't be going for Darius Slayton. He's the most expensive of the three, and he projects the worst, and he's been doing the worst as of recent. Then Tyler Boyd sneaks in here as a good value play. Not really a whole lot of upside as far as straight points scored here, but there is an upside in that offense. Tough matchup, though, this week, so I would probably just go for the bigger name targets on that team. Then Gabe Davis follows that up, and then we have the big hitters here about midway through as far as value picks. And Stephon Diggs is actually the best value play of the four guys who are expected to be getting you the most points. Yeah, so you can pause. Here are the rest of the value plays for the wide receivers. Sammy Watkins, definitely not a guy I would be going for. And Cole Beasley, I have down here. I got to talk two more things here. Cole Beasley, I have down here. He might not play at all. It looks like Isaiah McKenzie is not going to play, so this was reliant on Isaiah McKenzie being out and thinking that Cole Beasley would be a guy to come in and pick up that slack, but that's far from a guarantee. He wasn't used at all, I don't think, in week 18, I believe it was. And then as far as the Miami receivers, I just looked at the 3 games with Skylar Thompson and used those for projections. So that's why their numbers are shockingly low between Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and thus they're not very good values. And I would really stay away from them. But if you had to go for one, Tyreek Hill's probably the guy to get. He's done better with all season long anyways, but also with Skylar Thompson. Now let's look at the running back value plays, and Jeff Wilson pops right up to the top. He was pretty much priced for being in a split backfield with him and Raheem Mostert, from as far as I can tell, since I think Raheem Mostert was more than 5,400, maybe 5,600 or so. Jeff Wilson's an absolutely great value. What I did for projecting him is I pretty much gave him 1/3 of Raheem Mostert's work. And there was something else a little bit special I tweaked around with the projections, but that's what I did. Just kind of give him a little bit of a bonus on top of what he normally has gotten, and it could be an absolutely monstrous game from him. Should have a lot of opportunities. How good he'll be with them, don't know, but they've run a lot with Skylar Thompson. It's a tougher matchup. That's part of the reason for this higher expected range being low. But either way, for the price, he really allows you to go get a second good wide receiver or something like that. Then Saquon Barkley is the second best value play here, and so that's awesome. I would find it hard not to get Saquon Barkley into one of my matchups. Then Joe Mixon, Delvin Cook follow him up, followed by Devin Singletary's a little bit better than James Cook in the value department there. I was a little surprised on that, but not super surprised. So I actually did not include like the last week of the season's projections in there because James Cook played a lot. But if you're expecting James Cook to continue to take over more of the role than he's had most of the season, then you can just up him a little bit mentally, and I'm on the fence with that. Yeah, that's going to be it. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards become a little bit riskier plays, but that said, I do have J.K. Dobbins in a all weekend free lineup in case he goes for 137, gets a couple of catches, and has 2 touchdowns. Very much possible. We know that he wants the team to ride him, and he wants the load to be on his back. His words, not mine. Now let's move on to the tight ends. As far as Mark Andrews goes, he's the number one value play here. Tight ends are always cheaply priced on these things, and for good enough reason. And that's part of the reason why Mark Andrews is really this cheap, is because for a while now he hasn't been too great. He did end the season on a high note. So do you think that can continue or not? Obviously very reliant on Tyler Huntley, and as you saw for the quarterbacks, I am projecting this with Tyler Huntley in at quarterback. So I don't know that changes anything for me at running back. I guess I get more concerned about J.K. Dobbins without Tyler Huntley by a little bit. And, I'm really not looking to play Sammy Watkins or Demarcus Robinson, though Demarcus Robinson is not the worst if you're looking for a guy there for pricing. But keep that in mind. If Tyler Huntley's not there, you probably don't want to go with Mark Andrews. Yeah, that's all I got to say. Mark Andrews, obviously, you're kind of going in on a hope and a prayer. Then number 2 here for the value plays is actually Hayden Hurst. Shockingly, I think, in my eyes there. So good value play there. TJ Hawkinson. And at third, I like TJ quite a bit. Feel pretty comfortable with him. Like the point output. A little bit cheaper than Mark Andrews, and I might feel I definitely feel a little bit more comfortable rolling out TJ Hawkinson over Mark Andrews. Then we got Mike Gesicki, also projected. I did really all of my projections based on, that was the thing for the running back there for Jeff Wilson. Did a lot of my projecting based on the 3 games that Skylar Thompson was the starter, though he wasn't the starter for the full game, and one of them with Teddy Bridgewater. But either way, those were what I used heavily for those projections. Then Dawson Knox all the way down here at the bottom, but as you can see, he is the third best tight end. And so at 4,000, it's not going to be killing your lineup. So if you're not looking for a value bet, I do like Dawson Knox too. You'll see him in one or two of my lineups. Now here, I'll leave this here. We can take the mouse off of there. You can pause. This is all of the positions. So this is a flex list here in order of the average value point per dollar spent there in order. And now it's on to the lineups. And my first DK lineup this week is going to be Josh Allen, followed by Saquon Barkley at running back, Jeff Wilson at running back. I'm really high up on Jeff Wilson this week, as we said, and have a hard time passing on Saquon Barkley. For the wide receivers here, I got T. Higgins and Gabe Davis, and I was trying to fit Stephon Diggs in this lineup, and it just wasn't quite working. So that's why I made that second lineup, which is going to be very similar to this one. I also have Richie James, as you know, pretty high up on him, like the value, and I feel like he's pretty safe too. Then for the tight end, I went with Mark Andrews. I'm going to give him some of my trust. I think there's going to be a lot of people out there not trusting him. So if he does happen to go off, I hope and I think that I'll be able to catch a few lineups off guard and get an advantage there. I actually kind of like the two tight ending it this week. I think both Mark Andrews and TJ Hawkinson are pretty well priced. So stacked up on them, and I did another two tight end lineup even without those two over here. Then for the DST, I put in Buffalo. Did have $200 left over, so I could have gone for the number one priced DST in Cincinnati, but I think Buffalo will do better than Cincinnati. If Tyler Huntley is not playing, I'll probably switch that out for Cincinnati. Now on to the second lineup. Going to be very much the same. Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Wilson at running back again. Then I do have Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis actually in this lineup. No T. Higgins. And then I have Richie James Jr. as well in this lineup. So really went heavy on the Josh Allen stack there for the receivers, hoping for some boom, boom, boomness. And I also have Dawson Knox in this lineup, so I guess I'm really hoping for a lot of boom. But then I have TJ Hawkinson again in this lineup with Knox. And then I have the New York Giants DST in this lineup. On to my third lineup, and we switched it up here. So I went for value instead of spending up for Josh Allen on this one with Daniel Jones, who I think is an excellent play at quarterback this week. Followed that up with another value play of mine. I have all three of my favorite value plays here, Jeff Wilson and Richie James yet again in this lineup. Then I have, I got so confused. I have James Cook in here. I was thinking like it was Dalvin Cook, and I got lost. James Cook in my lineup. I think it's James Cook's for some reason, so I just got totally lost there. I know it's Dalvin's brother. And also in this lineup, I got Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Stephon Diggs. So I went big at the wide receivers there to fill this out with my other value plays. And at the tight end, I don't think I touched on this with my tight ends. Isaiah Likely down here, I did not know really how to project him because I think there's a good chance that he'll just be like he's been all season, in which case there may be an opportunity for a touchdown or a couple of big play opportunities that he hasn't always come through on every week, and sometimes there are no opportunities really. So he's a total wild card, and I decided to put him in here, but I did have options at tight end. I could have gone with several of them. I could have gone with Daniel Bellinger. I actually had him there first, then I just decided to go wild with it. Mike Gesicki and Hayden Hurst as well in there as options. They all would have fit in this lineup. Really do like this lineup. And I have the Baltimore DST, however, I did have to go for at the end there in order to make this work and get all three of those wide receivers in there. So that one's just hoping on a defensive touchdown type thing more than anything. It could be a close game too there anyways. And so those are my DFS plays, my value plays, and some lineups for you to steal if you wish. Thank you very much. Peace out. Good luck today. And please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and enjoy the games.